It's morning of our first full day here. I'm out on the balcony. You can see around the valley. It looks much like it did yesterday. There are like perpetual clouds just sitting over in front of us, and they look like the clouds are pouring over the hills and gonna run towards us like water. And now the reason we mention this is because this does actually happen here, probably up in those mountains. Yushan, the highest mountain in Southeast Asia, is probably, I think it's this one behind me, which you can't see, and even if you could see it, it would be hidden in clouds. It's almost 4,000 meters. I mean, just a few shy. And when it was part of the Japanese Empire, it was taller than Fujisan. It's still taller than Fujisan. It's just no longer part of the Japanese Empire, but it is the tallest mountain in Southeast Asia. I tried putting together vlog footage from yesterday, and it's a mess. And no one's up yet, so I'm going to work on it some more. This has been the system I've been using for the last few days. I work on it in the mornings, and see what I can do for the day before. But it's hard to capture what we did yesterday. But I'll see what I can do. Today, I have no idea what we're going to do. I guess we're going to go to a little Switzerland or something like that. Hiking is so steep. I don't know that there'll be many places to go except to walk down the road, and we've already actually walked the whole length of the road coming back from the sheep place yesterday. I guess it depends. We might spend some time in the hotel relaxing. The room included a Chinese-style buffet for breakfast, which Shuan enjoyed. Not so much to my liking, though. I've slipped outside this morning just to look around the hotel grounds. It's hard to describe, but everything is so precariously balanced on hills that there are no grounds. There is the road and then the hotel hacked out of the hill, and then you fall to the next road or hotel or ocean, depending on which comes first. So it's proving to be a challenge to get the feeling of the place on video. There's one thing that just amuses the heck out of me out of Taiwan, and you do see this in the cities, but never more so than in the country, where it's so inhospitable to lay pipe or conduit or any kind of utilities. You see this sort of thing all over the place. Not just these pipes coming out of the ground, but for example, this one that has to get through the road, or in this case over it. And to get over it, it goes up and it's on that branch, and then we follow it through here, crossing under those electrical lines, and into that tree, and around that tree, and down, and then off into who knows where. It just cracks me up. I guess there's nothing wrong with it. Well, I suspect there's probably some safety reasons wrong with it. We have arrived for today's excursion, a place called Little Switzerland. They're having a pinwheel festival, which is perfect timing, because it is a bit of a windy day. And that is Taiwan in a nutshell. You come over here to the ticket booth, they give you 4 things that you take over there to the 7-Eleven, which you then take to the woman at the 7-Eleven who takes them back to some sort of a machine, and gets some things that she brings back and gives to you that you bring over here to the ticket booth where you started so that you can purchase the tickets. Don't even try to make sense of it. It won't make sense.
Trading on the Alp-like appearance of the nearby mountains, Little Switzerland is really little more than a pleasant garden which people spend time in.
What are you doing, Jim? Staggered. Why?
Some of the pinwheel displays, especially when the wind is blowing, were very impressive to look at. They learned later in the day that had the typhoon come in, they would have had to have taken all these down for the day. I can't imagine that kind of work. This train on display in the garden has something unique about it. See if you can tell from this footage. This is the work of the Carton King, and it is made entirely of cardboard. It's possible that the Chinese breakfast had some adverse effect on James. In true Asian fashion, Chuan had to take selfies of herself with inanimate statues of cats or something. That is, when she wasn't subjecting the kids to a similar fate.
So there are many different kinds, but this is one of the kinds of campgrounds you will see in Taiwan. These are platforms for you to put your tent on that has a roof over it with lighting and electricity. And they say our camping can be cushy. Oh yes, and toilets. And there are showers down the hill.
Mom.
I have no idea. I simply have no idea whatsoever.
Feeding the birds is a popular pastime at Little Switzerland, too.
Gonna make a splash.
Finally, we stuck around long enough to watch the water show in the lake.
Well, we've stopped in at 12:30 for some Moe's-burger, and apparently up here in the hills, I'm still surprised we found one, but up here in the hills, they run out of food. They have no burgers, so I'm gonna have to try their salsa chicken, because I didn't want their green curry chicken because that's on rice bun. And the kids are having chicken nuggets, which they seem pleased about for the most part. So, I have the salsa chicken, which is this, which is a chicken patty. I hope it doesn't have bones in it, and some sort of salsa on it, on a bun. So here we go. On three. 1, 2, that is different. I'm gonna have to think about that one for a while.
This is limited new feature. Moseburger green curry chicken burger. Well, rice burger.
Here's a quick illustration of what the roads are really like when you're walking down them. On the left, it's a sheer rock wall and about 6 inches to walk in, unless you fall in the drainage ditch. Note how close the truck comes. On the other side, it's just a sheer precipitous drop off to Never Never Land.
It is so very, very hard to convey how steep things are. I'm going to try here. I'm not sure that I can, but this is the driveway of a hotel. And I'm going to keep the camera perfectly level. This is incredibly hard to do. Alright, I'm going to spin the camera and I'm going to keep it completely level. And now I'm canting down. And we're going to try to come around. And I'm going to try to convey how crooked this is, or what angle that is. I've got the camera dead straight. And then this thing just drops off. I really need to bring some sort of a measuring device, the level, to get the angle. A protractor, more likely, because it's just hard to tell.
We're back in the hotel now from the little Switzerland, and our plan for this afternoon is just to really hang out in the hotel and relax. I mean, the weather is so nice compared to Taipei right at the moment, but it is getting windy, and so I'm trying an experiment here. I brought my Zoom along with me, which is a digital audio recorder, and I use it mostly for recording the narration for the episodes, because I can plug it directly into the computer and it acts as a USB microphone, and I can do the voiceover in the editor. But it also works as a standalone recorder with a windsock, and it is getting windy. It's also beginning to drizzle here. You might see it forming up on my glasses. It's been like that all day, but the wind is getting worse and worse. The Little Switzerland put out on their Facebook page a note that says, hey, the typhoon is not here. Come on up. We're still open and having fun. And to be fair, this is not bad. This weather isn't terrible. It's just, we're obviously catching a little bit of the extreme edges of the typhoon, but nothing but a little drizzle and some wind. And as long as it stays like this for a few more hours, we'll be able to walk up to 7-Eleven and have some dinner, and we'll just continue to enjoy being in the hotel. The only thing I would really like this hotel to have would be a balcony that isn't 5 feet across and 5 feet deep, so that there was a chair on it that I could lie down and relax on, because that would be perfect. A lawn chair that you could lean back and just soak it all in would be perfect. But that we don't have.
Well, I can tick another one of those little things I've always wanted to do in Taiwan off my list, and that was I've had dinner at 7-Eleven. Yes, in Taiwan, you can eat meals at 7-Eleven.
They have their City Cafe line of foods, which they will cook for you. Well, they are basically frozen and or refrigerated meals, pre-prepared. I had a spaghetti with some bizarre kind of meat. And I've got myself some garlic bread here. James had himself a pork chop of some kind. Mom had a soup that, well, looks Chinese. And Michelle has decided to be a teenager and steadfastly refuses to eat. Because this won't last super long, we also have ramen noodles back at the hotel that we'll be able to cook around 9 or 10 o'clock to make it through the night.
In case you thought our recycling programs were complicated, the clouds have finally settled into the valley, and so has the rain. It's not a hard rain, it's just a steady, medium light rain. But it's enough to keep us inside.